Hi, this is Bobby Kimbrough, and welcome to Off the Cuffs. I'm excited today. I have with me my nephew, Antonio Stevens, a.k.a. Nephew. Nephew, what's happening with you?
Trying to make it.
Welcome to Off the Cuffs. You know, we have people from all walks of life come here. We love to have people that are homegrown, that have spent so much time in the community, making a difference in the community. And so when I saw that you were coming to visit with us, I got excited because there's so many things I want to unpackage with you. You know, who you were, what you're doing now. So just, let's have a conversation. I know who you are, but there's a lot of people out there who don't know who you are. Talk to me.
I'm just a regular dude. I'm been in Winston-Salem since I was 3.
Wow.
My beautiful mom brought me and my brother here when we were very, very young, from Baton, North Carolina.
Yeah, Baton Lake.
Baton Lake, born in Albemarle. I'm a country boy. A lot of my family is still down that way.
Yeah.
So came up here and moved into Lakeside.
Lakeside Apartments. On 311.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Stayed there until I was about 6 or 7 and moved to Ebony Hills.
Okay.
And when I moved to Ebony Hills, I discovered a whole new life of the way things should be. Had some friends, and my mom was working 3 jobs, and my dad.
You said 3 jobs?
3 all her life.
Wow.
She retired, and shortly after she retired, she started back working again. She was a substitute teacher for the school system.
Strong woman.
Yeah. And that's how I was raised.
So where did you go to high school at?
Carver High School. The best high school in the city. That's
debatable. So let me ask you a question. I've heard rumors that you were a pretty decent football player. Is that true? I mean, you don't have to be modest. I'm just curious.
I definitely left my mark on the field. I played with some amazing teammates.
What year did you play at Carver?
89. I graduated in 1989. Jim Bovender was my coach. Like you would say, arguably the best coach to ever coach in Winston-Salem. And I say this, I don't grade people on their wins and losses. I grade you on how many lives you saved.
Okay, I like that.
And I think he saved a lot of lives. And that's more than just graduating. That's graduating, getting a good job, and raising your family. Because anybody can win championships. You just get the best players. But how many kids come back to you and say, "Hey, coach, I got a good job."
So you played for him what was when you came through Howard School, what, 4 years?
4 years. It's 4 years.
Yeah, young.
I got kicked off the team, my JV team, my 9th grade year. And instead of letting me walk the streets and do whatever I wanted to do, he put me on the varsity football team. So I played varsity 4 years.
Wow.
I actually learned how to play football all over in the 9th grade. Some of my heroes were Chris Turner, my older brother, and Rodney McCoy, and Chris Harrison. Some of those guys that...
I remember McCoy.
Yeah.
McCoy, he played in one same state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
Richard Daniels, Derek Devlin, Ray Agnew. Those guys adopted me.
Big D played at State, North Carolina State, right?
Right. Those guys adopted me as a 9th grader and showed me how to play football. Wow. I had some success as a 9th grader. Then my 10th grade year, I really had some success. And then I went on to start my junior and senior year. And my sack record still stands at Carver High School.
What's that? 2 sacks? 3 sacks?
52.
52. That's strong. So what'd you do out of there? Did you go play college ball?
Went to Wake Forest on a full ride.
I guess you were a pretty good football player.
I was decent. I was definitely decent.
Yeah, you above decent if you went to D1. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna ease up. So tell us what happened. You went to Wake Forest.
Went to Wake Forest, and I had a pretty quick temper. Stayed in some trouble. Really wanted to be like James Webster after I met my coach.
Yeah.
He recruited me from Carver, and I wanted to be like him. He was a pretty tough dude. But between getting in trouble, staying too close to home, making bad decisions, I ended up transferring to Winston-Salem State.
Okay.
After 1 year, and I transferred to Winston-Salem State, and I made rookie, all-conference rookie team, had 15 sacks.
For 1 year?
Uh-huh.
That's strong.
And got shot at the end of my freshman year. So
how you play football and get shot?
Well, I was going to the parties.
Okay.
And when I speak to people now, I tell them you don't have to make every party. You can go to some party, have a good time, but you don't have to go to every party, especially in a city where you're well known. Some of the stuff isn't meant for you. Some of the stuff is just meant for you to hear about. But you have to show your face, pick and choose when you show your face. And for me, it was a situation where I didn't get shot in Winston-Salem. We had a football game against Johnson C. Smith. We beat them 76-7.
76-7.
Yes, sir. I played with Yancey Thigpen, Popcorn
Okay.
Ladder, those guys.
Yeah.
And I even had a pick six that day, a couple sacks, a bunch of tackles. And as soon as we got home, everybody took a shower. We went to A&T. I got shot in Greensboro.
Wow.
On my 20th birthday. And so many people had told me, if you don't change the way you live, you'll be dead or in jail by the time you turn 18. And they were off maybe 2 years because a doctor by the name of Christian Streck and a praying mother is the only reason I survived.
So is that in your football career?
Well, they said I wouldn't play again because I had to wear a colostomy bag for a long period of time. And of course, I had to drop out of school. And then I came back to school and took a full load, both sessions of summer school, just to get back eligible. So they said I wouldn't play again, but I went on to play. And my sack record still stand at Winston-Salem State, too.
Okay.
And so I had a good time, but what I'm most impressed myself with was just to get back in school and finish and graduate. And that's what my mom wanted. So
you graduated from SU?
Yes, sir. She wanted
Good
that.
stuff.
That was most important.
Wow. So what did you do when you graduated?
So I went and tried to play for Tampa Bay, and I was down there for 17 weeks for the Bucks. And I got cut, and I went on to Germany and tried to play in Canada. Just kept chasing my dream.
Yeah.
Until one day I said, in my city, kids are dying. And I was so much a part of the problem at a young age. I wanted to be part of the solution. So I came home, worked diligently with big brothers, big sisters, and then I started my own nonprofit. I think.
What's your nonprofit?
It's called My Brother's Second Chance.
Okay.
And I think I used up about 10 chances myself. So I believe in giving people a second chance. I think that the first strike we have against us is just being black. Certain doors will never open. Certain people will never feel comfortable around us. Even people of our own race don't feel comfortable around us at times. So when you go in a different setting with people of different color, it's not a surprise to be looked at differently and see people cringe and grab their purses or wallets or whatever. I get it, but most of the threat is a threat made up in your mind. Some of us, a lot of us, the majority of us, mean you no harm. I hate to be looked at and compared to a pit bull. Oh man, he like a pit bull. No, I'm not. You see a couple of us that work out.
So you say that being black is a strike against you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In every city. When people see brothers that work out, they say, oh man, he must have been in prison. Nah, we just work out. We got a gym membership. So with my nonprofit, I try to change the way people look at us, the way people see us by changing how we act. I think it's important to walk up to people and say, good morning, good afternoon, how are you today, sir?
Yeah.
It'll change the way they think. It may not overnight, but it will eventually. I think that it starts with us who have had some success in life. Not we made it. I don't think we made it yet. I think some people have made it, but when you can reach back and help someone come up a tier, and then they can help someone come up a tier, then we'll get closer and closer.
I'm going to back up for a second, right? Because it keeps resonating in my head when you say being black is a strike against you. And so, when I look at that and I unpackage that, I don't see my color being a strike against me. I see someone not understanding my diversity is ignorance against them or strike against them. I think that for so many times we have raising or putting out there that regardless of your complexion, it is a strike against you. Whatever your color is a blessing. A lot of people might disagree with that. I think that the ignorance of the strike comes when somebody don't understand or respect who you are, or they go down that road of trying to place you in a box without really understanding that my pigmentation has nothing to do with who I am, or my pigmentation has nothing to do with what I bring to the table. I've watched you for years, man, with my brother Second Chance, your nonprofit. You've done a lot of work in the city that I think is needed. I've seen you years working with kids, picking up kids that people have or society has forgotten about. So, we're in this place in this time now where there's an uptick in violence, uptick in gang violence. So what do you see happening now that when you was growing up, or what do you see the difference is right now? What's happening? Because you are out there, people want to know, people ask me all the time, what are we doing about this? What's going on? So what do you see? What do you see?
I see the difference between now and, let's say, 1992.
Okay, 92. I can remember that.
People were getting shot and killed in 1992, but not at this rate. There was still an appreciation for human life. This new uptick in violence, and I want to call it that because you call it that. I want to say it's because it's a lot less appreciation for human life. There's a lot less, I love yous in the world. There's a lot less, I appreciate you. There's a whole lot less, excuse me, my bad. You get killed now for stepping on someone's shoes. You get killed now for looking at someone wrong. And I think the whole debate between Black Lives Matter and do they really? I think that debate can go on and on because a lot of the violence is perpetuated between some of us. And I would love to see a town hall meeting between the different gangs and for them to tell us what they need and what they want to stop all the violence. But I don't want to hear anyone say, hey, guess what I did? I got a ceasefire. Because as soon as you say that, someone's going to pull a trigger just to prove to you that you don't have a ceasefire. I think that we get some of the leaders. I think they'll tell us that we've been blamed for certain things that we haven't done. And I think that's true. I think we're calling some people, some neighborhood cliques, I think we're calling them gangs. And I know some brothers personally that are involved, and they're not killing. They're focused on, the business part of it. And not saying that that's right, but I am saying that that's not murdering. Now, sure, there are some people out here involved in pulling these triggers and putting these guns in these babies' hands, and for that, they should be tried and convicted. But some of the people we're placing blame on because they're associated with a particular color or a particular gang that's doing things in other cities that they're not doing here.
So let's have a real conversation for a few minutes.
Sure.
Why do you think the violence is occurring, and why do you think is concentrated? I mean, I got my answers. I got my perspective. People never want to have a conversation about the black on black violence. We never want to have that conversation, right? It's so uncomfortable to so many people to have that conversation. What do you think perpetuates that?
It's the easy way out. Killing somebody is easier than fighting them. Taking them out is easier than competing with them. I think it's terrible that we get mad at somebody because they got a new car, or they got some money, or they the new hot boy. Let them have it. Let them have that. They're throwing bricks at the jail. Let them have that. But instead, we compete. We got to get a new car. I seen you with a new car. I got to get a new car. I seen you on Instagram throwing money and letting all this money fall. I got to do the same thing. I got to compete with you. When really, none of it really matters. It's not even important. I want to talk about who's going to college, who got the next scholarship.
So how do we change that and get some of these young brothers and sisters?
We got to put more focus on education.
Education?
We have to put more focus on education. We need to take some of the focus off who has the best sports program and talk about which high school and which middle school have the highest GPA. And I'm going to tell you what I do. My brother's Second Chance. Every chance we get to congratulate our kids for a good report card.
You do.
We do it. We put it on Front Street. We take them out to eat. We take them to dinner because that's what's important. We got so many kids saying, man, I don't want to study. I can go hustle. And we can't compete because your big homie can give you a couple $100 and you don't have to do any class where you can stop going to school. And he'll give you a nice pistol to tote too. And because in Winston-Salem, we don't lock up kids, you out here stealing go-karts and you stealing cars and you shooting because you know we're not going to do anything about it. Well, I want to put the focus back on education. I want to congratulate every child in our city that does something amazing in school. I think we now have the best superintendent of my lifetime in our school system. She has a great support system with some amazing assistant superintendents. We now have some teamwork going on, a partnership between the sheriff department, the school system, the police department. I just think that, a couple bad apples have overshadowed these new partnerships. But it still isn't too late to save those that want to be saved. I'll tell you a rough conversation I had. This lady said, Mr. Stevenson, can you save my son? I said, I'm on the way. Is he home? I'm over there now. I'll be on the way. She said, great. I get to the house. Young kid used to be honor roll all up through 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So now he's in high school. He's not the best athlete anymore, not so interested in playing sports, but he has all the shoes, all the clothes. The girls like him. Well, he's that popular guy.
Right.
But now it's not because of sports. It's because someone convinced him. You know everybody. Everybody likes you. You can sell some dope. You could be rich. And she called me because she found a gun in her house. Well, I shot over to the house. And on the way over to the house, I called my law enforcement friend.
Mm-hmm.
And my law enforcement friend said, don't touch that gun. Because if you touch that gun, if it's been used in a crime, those are your crimes. So I get over to the house anyway, and I talk to her and her son. I said, brother, get back involved in your books. Get back involved in your sports.
Right.
Let's make these touchdowns in education.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me, he said, brother, I don't want you to save me. I ain't asked you for no help. She did. She, like that ain't your mama.
Wow.
And I looked at her while he was right here at the table. I said, make sure his life insurance is paid up. Make sure he has some health insurance because you may have to bury him, and at the very least, you can pay his doctor bills. I said, because he reminds me of myself. He may end up shot down. And she was like crying. A few weeks later, she ended up having to call the police to come and get him out of her house.
Wow.
Because she found drugs. And so now he lives with his father, who at the point in time when she called me, the father wasn't interested in trying to help his own son, but now he is. Because he heard what I told her. Mom had a recording, her phone was recording the entire conversation. And she said, I don't want to have to bury you. I'm going to beg your dad to come get you. And so now dad pulled him to Greensboro. He's back in school, making decent grades. But his dad said, either you listen to me or you ain't got nowhere to go. And I think every young man, black, white, Hispanic, other, whatever, needs a conversation with a real man, preferably their father.
So I've listened to you talk. You have an amazing story, an amazing journey. You've traveled from Carver. You've seen the world. And so my question is this, right? You say you want to give back. You say you want to be a part of the problem. What do we need to do as a community? What do we need to do collectively to stop some of the violence, to get our students back on track, to build, like you said, he need to have a conversation with preferably his father, mentoring programs and things like that. I know you're big in mentoring. Walk me through that.
I think we need an emergency mentoring program in our city. I told you that I think 2-3 years ago.
You did.
When we honored you on Father's Day. Because you already do that, but that's not what it's called. We need more men of influence. We need more Mr. Kimbroughs. We need more brothers who have seen what's on the other side. And I took my guys, maybe 3 years ago, I took my guys to a funeral of a young man at Russell Funeral Home who I had tried myself to save. And I tried diligently to save him. And at the time, all my kids were at Carver High School. So we all put on our polo shirts and went to Russell Funeral Home. And I just wanted to capture what they thought on the way out of Russell Funeral Home. So we stopped and we stepped in the grass and we talked. And some of my guys were just looking at me in disgust, upset. Like, why did you bring us here? I said, did y'all know him? We knew of him. We heard of him. I said, that's why I bought you. I said, he's 17. Some of y'all are 17. That could be one of y'all. One wrong move, one bad choice. Now, he didn't go to Carver, but he was in the streets. And my kids had chose no longer to be in the streets. And some of my kids had never been in the streets, but they had talked back to their mom. Mm-hmm. And they had made some rough decisions. And I wanted that to resonate with this casket and this kid in this casket and how it's over. Because I get tired of hearing kids say, on my God, on life, on my, on my mama.
Yeah.
So I think what we need is more visible male role models, successful male role models in front of these young males. And I'm not going to say young black males because it's a plethora of young individuals making bad choices from all walks of life.
True.
And I think the more people that we put in front of them, the better. I've seen the school system invest into mentoring. I think that's the most amazing thing I've seen ever in my 51 years of life, because I've been begging for it for about 10 years, just to allow mentors to come into the schools.
That's strong.
And just be there for when these kids need someone to talk to. Secondly, I think these kids need an outlet.
So when you say outlet, what do you mean?
Someone, a mentor, someone that will come pick them up, take them out of their element. If we don't want them to sell drugs, let's stop letting that be the only thing they see. If we don't want them to tote pistols, let's stop letting them be that the only thing they see. Me and my program, we take these kids to Charlotte. They see professional football, professional basketball. I've linked up with a few other mentoring programs that have that inside. We take them to see Wake Forest, Winston-Salem State.
I know. I've seen you at a lot of the games. And so I heard you say earlier that the things that you did inspired you to do My Brother's Second Chance, because you had done so much and had been given not only second chance, but 9 and 10 chances. You felt that it was needed for you to come back and do that. I think that the community need more men like yourself that's willing to get out there and do what I consider the groundwork, consider to do the work that allows these kids to flourish, these kids to be successful. So what you doing now? What is Antonio Stevens doing now?
Well, people say boots on the ground, but I consider the work that My Brother's Second Chance does to particularly be caught in the trenches. We in the mud, but I just left quality education schools, and in my opinion was one of the best schools in the city, to come back to the school system. I'm now the district administrator of the district-wide mentoring program.
Wow.
I'm the administrator of the district-wide mentoring program. So these new mentors that have been allowed to come into schools, I get to be the link, the partner in the schools, sort of on doing the groundwork, making sure that we do a needs-based assessment and not treat every kid the same way.
That's strong.
Some of them will need different things. Some of them will need day-to-day contact. Some will need every other day, but they all will need a mentor. Once we figure out exactly who they are and what they look like, some will need day-to-day contact from a young lady or day-to-day contact from a young man. Some of them will need help not only in school but at home. I think the worst thing you can do is mentor someone and do it cookie cutter and do everyone the same way. Well, in my mentoring program, we have some kids that haven't had a new pair of shoes in 2 years.
Wow.
They don't even know what size shoe they wear. So we find what size shoe they wear, we get them an outfit, feel better about themselves, and that's all they needed. We got others that need food, clothing. When you sit down and talk to someone, you're asking these questions, but you're also writing down the answers, because whatever they lack, we're going to fill in the blank.
Somebody got to fill in the gap, right?
Right. We got it. We're going to do it. And if we don't have it, we'll bring it to the table. That's what my board members do. Well, if I can't do it, they can do it. Somebody on my board knows somebody.
So how long has My Brother Second Chance been in existence?
We're celebrating 19 years.
19 years?
19 years. We started out without some of the things we needed. We went dead, and then shortly after we came back up, we with actually the carriage pulling the horse. We saw some kids that needed help. We jumped in to help them, and we didn't have the finances. We didn't have the support system, so we shut down for a year. And shortly after, we got a lawyer, James Quander, sort of pointed us in the right direction. Went through the state, and we got back going. Walter Hutchinson does all my book work, and we jumped back on, and we've been going strong ever since 2007, 2008, and here we are. And like I said, we're not perfect, and there was a time when I used to see other nonprofits duplicating the same services.
Right.
And I say, man, why y'all doing the same thing we doing? But we can't help every child. So I'm glad there are other nonprofits, other mentors, other mentoring programs. I know programs that say we're mentoring, but all they teach is basketball. And I said, well, you know what? That's perfect. That's fine. And there are other programs that say we're mentoring, but all we do is lift weights. Hey, that's perfect. But we're doing whole man mentoring. We start from the bottom of that person and come all the way up and try to improve that person holistically, in the classroom, at home. We want you to be a better person in the community. I don't care if you make a layup, or miss it, or hit a three-pointer. It ain't nothing to do with me, but that's not what my program focuses on. I don't care if you can bench press 225 or 315, that's fine. We're not focused on that. We're focused on you as a person, becoming a young man, and hopefully being a positive
Can you
person.
bench press life?
Right. That's it. I want you to be the best young person you can be and become a working process. And like my mom said, I didn't give birth to a football player. I gave birth to a young man who I hope to see get a job and become a positive person in the community.
I want you to know something. I've known you for years, and just sitting here looking at you, the growth that I'm seeing, it's just amazing. What you're doing in the community is so amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you do, because there's truly an issue in our community. It's an issue in our community that we've got to address. I say this all the time. It's not an issue that law enforcement can fix. It's a community that we've got to fix. We've got to, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All of us got to play some kind of role. The mentoring piece that you talk about is so key in trying to change the narrative, because at the end of the day, our kids need us now, and the future needs us now. It's depending on us. You know, the numbers this past year, the number of homicides we've had, all the things that are happening throughout this community, it needs men like yourself that are working with these kids. So I'm going to give you the last few words. Tell me, if you had a magic wand, right? What would you wave that wand and create? Or what would you wave that wand and like to see happen? And what would it take to make that come to fruition?
If I had a magic wand, I would create a wheel or a pie. And I would cut that pie equally into about 8 slices, 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. And I put law enforcement into 2 pieces. And I would put workforce development into 2 pieces. And I would allow 4 mentoring programs on the other side to be able to use law enforcement and workforce development to make sure that these kids not only were safe in school, but were safe at home. And that when they turned 15 or 16, they had opportunity to get a job and help their families out. Because unfortunately, some of these kids just want money. I've had a million conversations with a million young brothers that quit school at 15, 16 and don't have a trade. And I've asked them, what do you need? And the one key thing that all these young brothers say they want or need is money.
How young should we get with these kids?
I think you got, I think you have intervention and prevention. And for a very long time, we did intervention, which I think is about 14 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Prevention, I think, is 8 or 9, 10 at the latest and up. And that gives you 4 years with them before they get to high school. And then you have 4 more years with them. My brother's second chance.
Which is easier, prevention or intervention?
Prevention. It's easier to grab them when you can sit down and read a book to the whole class. And that one kid that's not listening, that's walking around and playing with everybody else and balling up, that's the kid. That was me. I'm not telling you something I don't know. I'm telling you something I've lived. That's the kid you focus on. Because he's either going to be the most powerful leader or he's going to be the follower that recruits the rest of the kids. So that's the kid you focus on helping. And when people see him concentrating on his books, they're going to concentrate on their books too.
Right.
And when you get to high school, which is intervention, it's almost too late. You might can turn 1 or 2, or you might can turn 10, but you're going to have to infiltrate that 10 with 10 others that are focused, come from really good families, traditional households, that love their mother, love their father, don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
Because the kids you're trying to save, they don't care about that.
Wow.
They don't care about letting their parents down.
That's good stuff, man. You keep doing what you're doing. Can't save them all, right? But we can save as many as we can.
We can save quite a few. We just got to stop saying let's save just one. Let's stop saying that. If we say that, let's just save just one. That once you save that one, you forget about the rest of them. Let's concentrate on a majority. We can still save the majority.
I like that. So, last question. What's next for Antonio Stevens?
I just want to make sure that when I leave here, people say he tried to make whatever he was doing better, or he left it alone. If he couldn't make it better, he got out the way and allowed somebody else to come in. What's next for me is I want to make sure that I keep running from COVID, staying up on my shots, and staying out the way.
You know what, man? I want to tell you something, right? You're definitely making your mother proud. I never got a chance to thank you for this, right? I remember when I called you late one night because I knew you lost your mother last year, right?
Yes, sir.
And I asked you, I said, tell me, how do you prepare? How do you deal with that? And I called you with tears in my voice. And I didn't call nobody else, right? I called you. I'm going to tell you why I called you. Because like you said, you've been through it. And when a man has been through something, it's like a scout. He can tell you what you're going to face and what you're going to do. And talking with you, you helped me get through some things. You shared some things with me. I thank you for that. I want you to take that same guidance that you got going, brother, and keep guiding some of these kids through it. Keep guiding some things through that. Your story is to be told. Your story is to change lives. God spared you for a reason. Because the truth of the matter, you should have been gone, right?
Sir.
But the fact that you here says you has purpose and you have favor. Took a while, but you got it. Yeah. And I thank you for coming by today, being with us on Off the Cuff. You always inspire me, man, because to know you didn't give up. You didn't give up. And that's the key.
You're my bridge builder.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. If you need anything from us, man, call us, stay with us, keep doing what you do. We had with us today Antonio Stevens, a.k.a. Nephew. Thank you.